Hi guys, I just got a question of a user who is trying to build ArcoPlasma. I've seen at YouTube, and the last time I made a video like that, it's basically a year ago. So ArcoLinux is a lot more than a few ISOs. There is a wealth of knowledge about ArcoLinux, and then use configurations, applications and settings and all that. There's everything about the desktops, the D for desktops, and the B stands for build your own ISO. So that's where I'm gonna go now. If you want to build our ISO, but it's never perfect, isn't it? Any distribution out there is just not perfect. So we need to, or we can, there's no need, we can straight out of the box already build the ISO the way we like it. The other option is just keep everything as is, install and make a script. Remove this, remove that, and install this, install that. But you can do this prior to building of the ISO. So ArcoPlasma ISO, it's all shared, right? It's just a Control-C. And then you go to your system. Often I'll do it on the desktop. And then git clone this particular content. It's a bunch of folders and scripts. Here is the installation scripts. That's the one I'm gonna go and use. I'm gonna run 40. It's simple as that. I'm gonna type 40. That's it. That's how technical it is to have an ISO that you've built yourself with the latest kernels, with the latest drivers, whatever, right? Anything that's now available, and that's an important thing, anything that's now available on a mirror list. Where do I get my packages? These are the packages, or these servers contain the ArcoLinux packages. That's 90% of the ISO, right? 5% is from the AOR and 5% is from us. But this is the major bulk of packages. So make sure that you're choosing a server from Arch that you've been trusting for years, right? And these is my list that I trust for years, and I share them with you. So that's important. When we build an ISO, we get packages from somewhere. We get them from ArcoLinux. Maybe let's just do the rest as well. Arco mirror list has the word Arco, right? Arco repositories. I'm getting my stuff from line 2. You may be getting them from line 5, which is always, it should be the same, right? It should be a mirror, but each day, they once or twice, depending on the server, they will look at the seed host server and say, okay, there's a new package, and it will get updated. But I'm going to take line number 1 there. So those are all the variables around my script that gonna influence everything. Besides the CPU, the memory, the internet, my router, and all that, right? That's something that's a given. That's hardware and network. So if you don't want to change anything and do exactly the same things as ArcoLinux, that's this. But if you want to continue to dig into the what's going on here, how do they do these things, right? Then you need to have a look at the Arch ISO. And here's the packages x86. You can create a personal repository and say, I'm gonna get my package that I've built. In this case, this is a surfing icon with new mix icons that are in blue rather than in yellow or orange kind of look, right? Blue is, well, a nice color. One of the 16 million colors. You choose another. And we have the packages. And when I click here, basically, the best way to say it simple, scroll down, then scroll up, okay? The top is something you better keep away from. The rest is something you say, okay, I'd like to have btop or not. The or not is very simple. That's the or not. And you choose, instead of plain text, I often choose Perl, and btop is now gray. Gray is not gonna be installed. It's just a comment. This is gonna be installed now. Control S, saved it again. So there are lots of things in here that you could decide, like for instance the ArcoLinux wallpapers is super unimportant, right? Wallpapers, we just grab them, we have probably already gigabytes of them, right? You don't want them, you don't have them. Out of the box, of course, you won't see a wallpaper then. If for instance you have I don't know, Qtile or something, right? It points to that particular wallpaper, so you get a black screen. Everything has a consequence. When you start messing with these things, it has a consequence. At some point in time, you'll see, hey, that's strange. Why don't I have a wallpaper? Because you said no wallpaper. Here are ArcoLinux apps that you can omit. ArcoNet XFCE. So there are a few settings in here that we use, that we have already ready, because in the future we'd like to have maybe Thunar to go to other computers. ArcoNet wallpapers is there as well, so another package for wallpapers. Plasma, that's our choice, right? Plasma, ArcoLinux SRM Simplicity. So in here are just choices. This is for Japanese, Korean and Chinese. That's the first thing I remove after installation. So these guys are here for Calamares, but they stay around, right? Because I don't know if you're in Japan, Korea or China. So it's just a font, it doesn't matter, right? But I do a clean sweep after an installation. I'll go to github.com/ericdubois/ArcoLinux Nemesis, and I'll change the ISO. I'll change not the ISO, the system I'm on, and I'll remove these guys, for instance, and other stuff. So we have here CashOS headers. It's a lot of decisions you could and can, not should, make. But in here is things that you'd like to have or to remove. You can add also things in here, but they should be on the Arch Linux servers, right? If you can't do a sudo pacman-s, you can't put it on here. You need to build them, create a repository, add them to the repository. It's quite complex, but it's all explained. That's ArcoLinux, right? Getting from A to Z university to really dig in and figure out everything. So a lot of icons are not installed here. Vivaldi is not installed. So many things you can add to the list, and that is entirely up to you. And some of the things we want it to be there, like for instance the Linux CashOS headers should be there because Calamares says copy that file through there, which might, not sure, never tested it, which might result in an error, because once the Calamares assumes things are there and you remove them, it might end up in a system error because the configuration of Calamares says I can't find it, or I can't do it, or whatever, right? So everything has consequences. When you start messing with this, fine, mess with it, learn from it, and discover why Calamares is doing things the way it does, and say, okay, I can't do that, right? So off we go to build it. I haven't changed anything, I think, at this point in time. We should do something, right? Shouldn't we? How about install Chromium, Darktable, and Deadbeef? Voila. Save. Simple as that. Let's just double check. F12 sudo pacman-s. Here is Vivaldi. Was it Vivaldi? No, Chromium. F12 Chromium. Right. This is something I know, but you should check. It's coming from Extra, so no problem. No problem. It's just Arch. It's an Arch application. And Vivaldi, let's take a look at this guy as well. Right. Vivaldi Extra. It's an Arch application. So any Arch application can be added to this list. That's the point, right? And Darktable and Deadbeef is the same thing. But if you want to see Darktable, right, a lot of stuff, but also everything from Extra. Okay, Deadbeef, Maybe you've never heard of it. Very interesting little tool. Let's install it so you see what that beef is. A very small little thing, and it's already playing. So it's a very minimal. I'm on a tiling window manager, but basically, as this thing is as big as this thing, right? It's a very small thing, but it plays your music. All right, enter. Message: do not run this file as root. I did not do that. I just said ./40, right? Let's make this bigger and read it a little bit. So do not run this file as root, add sudo in front of it, run the script as user. I did this ./40. ArcoLinux keyring and ArcoLinux mirrors are both installed. Yay, right? Otherwise you can't do anything. Setting general parameters, checking if Arch ISO grub is installed, saving current Arch ISO version to readme. We're doing some stuff, some work. We're giving it a number, we're giving it a name, and on it goes, I think, already deleting some stuff. So if you have already this folder, it should be gone, right? We start again with a clean slate, and then it goes on copying things and adding, in this case, Celtic repo there, but it's not used. Hence all the hashtags, but it's ready, right? It's there. And on it goes, building the ISO. This can take a while, be patient. And better maybe to remove this so we see a little bit more. As I said, it's like 90% pure Arch, right? And later on we'll get the ArcoLinux stuff and the AOR stuff in. But these are the repos it uses, and this is something you don't see in a normal setup. This is the repository just to install. Calamares is there, right? Calamares configuration and anything that it needs, it's going to be there. You don't need to have Calamares when you reboot. Right? There's no sense to having Calamares there in a repo, in a working system. This is purely to get things going. Basically copy paste from A to B, from a USB to a system. That's it. That's why Calamares is there. So we got a lot of choices here. We do follow, and that's one of the things we can't do much about, in the sense that we follow the default guys, and default is all and default is 1 and so on, check 2. So that may be something you need to change later on, but hasn't given us any problems in the last 8 years. But it's a choice that we do not make. It's Pacman that suggests that's the default. Since we're building Plasma, check out the K letters. The K starts always with a K. Look at all that, right? We're definitely installing Plasma, and the P should be checked as well. All libraries, lip. And Plasma, is there a Plasma? There's a Polkit. There's a Plymouth. I don't see the Plasma. This must be a group name, and then everything goes in there. No P's. Here we got some fonts, the fonts I talked about. And here we get something else, right? So here it stops with Z, from A till Z, and here it starts again, alphabetically. A, oh look at that, Arco Calamares Wayland, ArcoLinux RKD. So these are the stuff that is from us. As you see, it's not that much, right? That's it. And there's a long list of stuff. Right, just pointing out, it is really 90% Arch. We are pure Arch, plus a few packages from us, a few packages from AOR, and that's it basically. Right, here's the Plasma stuff. So here we see the Plasma things that come in, and of course Xorg as well. And then we scroll down and we follow this. Any message you see is benign, right? Otherwise I can't build ISOs either. So any message you see, they say, hey, what's this? What's that doing? What's this saying? Like these guys, right? all good. It's just what it is. If you go to the forum of ArcoLinux, then they'll say in the posts, a warning is just what it is, a warning, right? Don't freak out, it's just a warning. Doesn't mean a thing unless it breaks a system. And it doesn't. So skip the warnings until it breaks, I guess. But going through this is something sometimes interesting, because you learn about applications and sometimes dependencies, that you can install more packages to support a certain application. Here it says installed, right? Things that you install sometimes need something else, and you add it to the list. We're at this number, so 1/3 is done. Let me scroll a bit faster. If there's anything I can talk or tell about this code. This is green, this is from us, right? We'll change your grub theme automatically to Vimix. The following file will be changed. So instead of people telling people you should go there and change this and do that, as always, in the beginning, too technical. Later on, of course, when you graduate from the University of ArcoLinux, it's a piece of cake, but now we do it automatically for you. There are always backups. If you're going to mess with the code in grub, can be tricky, can be dangerous. Same here, ArcoLinux SDM simplicity, we set it the theme for you automatically. Otherwise we get this default SDM look. We're really not a fan of that. So I do hope Plasma guys hear me. Make this a beautiful default SDM theme so that we don't want to change. We say, wow. Do not just code, design. So we've got some real tech, NVIDIA, Broadcom, driver support for graphical and for internet. And voila, so we see here some things here. They say, oh, what's this? No problem. It is an error, but no problem. Doesn't break anything. Same here. It just doesn't exist at this point in time. It wants to do something that's not there. And off we go. We're already building the 4.0 file system on home, etc. So if you want to investigate, Super Shift Enter, Control H. There are a few folders in here, and the one we're talking about is this one. We want to see the ISO later on, but now it's here, right? It's doing its job here, and all these files change all the time. But now it's already writing this. This is your future system. This is what you want to have on your PC. And I've added 3 extra applications, and they should be in here somewhere, right? I don't know if I can do this. RG, Chromium. Probably not like that. But yeah, it should be somewhere in here. I guess user bin Chromium. There he is, right? That's my browser for later on. I can't click this now. It's setting everything ready to go on an ISO, and then yeah, on the DVD I can USB the live environment. Yes, then I can launch Chromium. Not like this, but there's a check, right? Chromium is installed. Done. So all of this with this with that. And this, everything, all of this is used to make an ISO. And this is the place to be. This is your future system to check. Is my, for instance, is my pacman.conf okay? Is my pacman.conf okay? When I started out, I wanted to have everything except the ISO, right? The ISO repo is not needed. So it's only the repo testing and the repo third party, extra large. I don't need the repo underscore ISO for the Calamares setup. The future system, when you reboot, needs to have this. Not, better go to desktop, not this. So that's all things that we learn in the progress of making ISOs, right? That's what I need for Calamares. That's what I need for an ISO. But later on, I don't need it. I need another pacman.conf. So these three guys should be on there. I'll guess I'll pause the video so we can have, well, we'll wait. We can continue our video. I've already shown you that our change, Chromium, Darktable and Deadbeef, I've shown you that Chromium is in there. There's actually no need to install anything to know that it's installed or not. You go to the ArcoPlasma out, you have these files, have looked at the content, but this one is the one that contains the packages. So if I type Chromium, there it is. If I type Darktable, there it is. And the third one was Deadbeef, right? The music. Oops, Deadbeef, right? So no need to go for an installation to know that the application is on there. But in this next video, we'll show you that it is. All right, cheers.